is a 1959 epic historical drama film directed by William Wyler and starring Charlton Heston. To celebrate the release of an upcoming box office disaster, which, come on, it's guaranteed it's going to suck at the box office, I've decided to take a look at a film that has been considered by many to be one of the greatest epics of all time, and is one of 3 films that holds the record of holding the most Oscars with 11. This is Ben-Hur. The film is about a Jewish merchant played by Charlton Heston who, after he's betrayed by a close friend of his and is sent to work as a slave in the galleys of Roman ships, he promises himself to get revenge against his former best friend and try to reconnect with lost loved ones as well. And by every sense of the word, this film is a true epic. Just everything in this film is epic about it. Just the scope, the visuals, the cast. And it's been widely noted that this film had over 10,000 extras working on this one film. Because don't forget, back in the 50s and 60s, epics like these were just the hugest things in the world. In fact, movies back then were treated like an event, and this film was no exception, as this film runs for 3.5 hours. You're lucky if you even see a 3-hour movie nowadays, because again, times have changed, people don't want to sit through very long movies, otherwise they'll get bored. I'm one of those people who lean back to those olden days where movies were quite long, because filmmakers got to tell more of the story in the longer runtime they had. And with Ben-Hur, William Wyler got to tell a fully fleshed out story in 3.5 hours. And though sometimes some of the stuff that's in the film doesn't work, a lot of other times it does work tremendously. I'll get my little nitpicks out of the way first, because these are minor and really don't hurt the story at all. I wouldn't call the acting in this film perfect. And yes, even though Charlton Heston won an Academy Award for Best Actor in this role, his performance in this film isn't the strongest that I have seen from other Oscar winners. Like, don't get me wrong, the performance is brilliant. However, it just lacks that emotional punch, and just like, this performance just didn't feel right for a drama film. It felt a bit over the top, a bit cheesy, and a little bit corny at times. It's by no means a bad performance. It's pretty good, but again, I am just nitpicking here. And after the chariot race scene, the film does kind of start to lose momentum and get a bit boring, because basically after the chariot race, that's when Charlton Heston's character achieves his quest of revenge, and basically that's it. And then they've got another half-hour of story to tell, and this was definitely the slowest part of the movie, as I found it to be boring, unnecessary, and dragged on for a little bit more, and kind of ruined the ending for the film for me. Other than those 2 nitpicks, this film is glorious. And it's no secret, but the chariot race scene is one of the best movie scenes of all time. And it's just 10 straight minutes of this chariot scene. And everything about the scene is just perfection. There's no music within these 10 minutes, it's just the sounds of the crowd, the horses, and the people who are driving the horses. And the thing that impressed me most with the scene was it was all practical. They actually had real horses on set. And while the new Ben-Hur looks like they faked the horses, here they actually use 100% real horses. There's this one scene that doesn't get a lot of attention, but it's personally one of my favorite scenes in the entire film. It's a scene where Ben-Hur is on one of the Roman ships, and the commander of that ship, Quintus Arrius, is basically watching the slaves row the boat, and out of nowhere, he basically tells them to tells them to go to a faster speed, and this scene goes for 2.5 minutes, and I enjoyed every single second, because just with the character Quintus Arrius, he's one of my favorite characters in this movie, as he's one of the only Romans to show kindness to Ben-Hur, as basically he admires his tenacity, his will, his complete control of his emotions, and his dedication. And it's definitely shown in the scene, as he's basically testing these slaves to see how far they can go under extreme pressure. And just the music in this scene made this scene really stand out to me. And of course, when the commander kept asking for them to get faster, the music got a lot faster, and even the editing got a bit faster, as it was constantly cutting from one thing to another. And this is absolutely, hands down, my favorite movie scenes of all time. Not my number 1, but it is in the top 10. Overall, I would definitely recommend this movie, and yes, I know you would have to dedicate 3.5 hours to sit through this movie, but if you have the time, this film is worth watching. And while the last half hour of the film is a bit slow, a bit boring, and bit unnecessary. It's still a fun ride, and definitely the story, visuals, characters, set pieces, action will definitely hold you over and very much impress you, as it did with me. While I wouldn't say it's a perfect movie, it's still a great movie, and I'm going to give this film an 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, be sure to like my Facebook page, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to my channel below. I'm NETX5. Thank you for watching.